Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. Monster Hunter just had their big showcase talking about Title Update 4, which comes out in a few days of this video on December 16th. They went over Gogmazios, how all of its weapons are going to work, and they even told us about one final update coming in early February. In this video, there's so much that they announced that I'm not going to give you a full 30-40 minute in-depth review of everything that they have on their website. There's other channels that have done really good jobs about doing that. For my coverage, I'm going to be focusing mostly on the Gogma Artian weapons and the PC improvements that we can expect, which they went into further detail on the website after the event. Gogma is from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. They actually did hint that Werner was involved in the creation of the very large cannon that was used during that fight. So I bet he's probably like thinking to himself, oh no, they have to face him, but they ain't got that weapon anymore. So I'm sure he'll have a role in coming up with something to stop Gogma, or maybe, as I hope, we'll get some story interaction between it and Zoshia or something like that. I would hate for them to take Zoshia's story and save it all for some master rank expansion, or God forbid, like never go into it. They also showed off a bunch of download content, which I won't really be going over because I think I share the sentiment. Download content really just isn't my thing when it comes to paid content for these games. And of course, the next arc, Tempered Monster Jin Dahad. Just look at this. Gogma, when it hits its sort of final phase, it gets so heated and excited that even the tar that is sticky all over its body will melt off. And he takes on like a fire element, and it frees his wings, and he's able to fly up in the air, shoot beams, and go crazy. Just the massive size of this monster and the speed in which it moves, it was amazing in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and I think it's going to be jaw-dropping in Wilds as well. They did cover in the direct that the Gogmazios will be a special hunt where you'll have up to 4 hunters like normal, but also 4 support hunters for a total of 8. I am happy that they made it support hunters, because I don't know how carding would work if you had 8 human players. But it'll be a nice spectacle hunt and a good send-off, I think, for, the first real large-scale hunt for this game. Armor looks fantastic. They recreated it from 4 Ultimate, and the weapons are all back as well, but this time with a twist. For this time, they took the Artian weapons, and they added in a final upgrade path for them using Gogma materials, and these will be Gogma Artian weapons. Now, if you watched my recent video, I really love the Gogma weapons, and I did a whole video discussing its design. So I did want to note here that the actual, although they're keeping the iconic designs, they've actually changed the names of the weapons. There's 4 of them that we could see in the video and recap, and we could see the new names. It's interesting because the original Gogma weapon names, they really leaned heavily on Greek and Latin roots, like Astrakhan, Desmos, Clavis, Dystopia, and those were really, thematically strong, but really abstract. So for these, they went away from something that describes an idea or state into something that's more concrete and more of a physical concept. Stuff like bound, cusp, and agony. Things that you can, feel rather than just an idea. And then Japanese is kind of interesting because they sort of went with like Germanic or pseudo-European endings to make them feel a little bit more like relics or instruments of punishment, which makes sense because these are relic versions that meld with other relics you found. On the left are the original Gogma weapon names, and the one on the right are the new special Gogma Artian weapons. The Japanese for the greatsword here is Ostonsa, which is interesting. For dual blades, it's the Kuraukurais. For the hammer, it's Desvankeru. And then for the light bowgun, it's Destoreta. Sounds really cool. While the designs we see so far have the same writing on them, I did notice that the greatsword has sort of an updated design, and that there's a lot more text, and it seems like they've changed it. So I don't know, maybe that means that there is an actual rhyming reason. So that's something I look forward to attempting once the update comes out. And it is also worth noting that the glowing effect that you get when you're charging a weapon or just emanating appears to take on the color of the element that is assigned to the weapon, which I think is a cool, nice touch. So when you use the Gogma materials, which we see 3 different types of tarred devices to upgrade an Artian weapon, it appears that it doesn't have to be a fully upgraded Artian weapon, or it can be, and there are some benefits from it, but it will cost 3 of these parts, and you have to choose either an attack focus, affinity focus, or element focus, aka also status. Not only does it just throw in 3 bonuses for either attack, affinity, or element, but it also applies a random group skill and a random armor skill. Look at the example they showed in the video. They were able to get Lord's Soul on that, which is a exclusive armor skill for the Gamma sets from the Arc Tempered monsters, which gives you guts, some attack boost, and other great stuff. It's arguably the best armor skill in the game. The fact that all of these are now random, they could have nerfed the attack power on these things, and even still, they would surpass crafted weapons just for this ability and the slots alone. So I went down a rabbit hole last night, and I'm going to invite you along, because there's 3 choices here, right? You have the ability to choose an attack focus, element focus, or affinity focus, but there was something that really stood out to me, and I thought, this doesn't look like an even choice. So I went ahead and put it on paper, but before we go into the result here, I want you to think about this. On the left is the normal Artian weapon. It's 190 raw, 5% affinity, and you get 15 points to customize it. You can put 5 increase infinity by 5%, and then 10 to power. You put all 15 into raw, and it'll be 205 raw. It's very flexible, right? It's got 20 white sharpness and 70 blue, so it's a very nice weapon. And of course, they all come with full slots. Now, when you upgrade it, if you look really carefully at the screenshots, there's an actual difference in the sharpness depending on which of the Gogma Artian paths that you take. If you go for power, it appears that it's 200 raw with a minus 10% affinity, with 20 white and 30 blue, so you're pretty much going to have to use the sharpness modification on it, which is fine. It's plus 30 white. The element one is 190 raw, minus 5% affinity, and then 30 or 50 depending on your weapon, or if it's a element or a status. And the same deal, 20 white, 30 blue. And the affinity one has a really nice long blue, but short white, so 10 white, 70 blue. But it also falls down to 180 raw with 15% affinity. So given these 3 choices and the fact that you can customize these with the random reinforcements bonuses later, which do you think is the best choice? Is it truly situational, or is there a clear winner? I'm going to try the new experimental YouTube poll. If you happen to have that on your screen now, go ahead and take it before I reveal the answer. I'm really curious to see what people choose. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. And here are the results. If you notice, actually the Artian weapons as they are now are really solid. It's 254 raw expected power and 230 raw for when you drop to blue sharpness. But your choices on the right here for the Gogma ones, remember, they are getting a small little nerf. However, you're also getting that armor set bonus and the weapon skill bonus. And yeah, power wins out, as far as I can tell, in every single situation. I don't know why the other 2 ones exist. I suppose the affinity one is enticing because it's got the nice long sharpness, but for any of these weapons, you're really going to want to run a sharpness plus 30 modifier on them, so I don't think that that's going to be really a deciding factor. And if you just look at raw numbers, it just seems the attack one blows the other 2 out of the water. Now, one of the reasons why they made the Gaijin Artian weapons from just a pure raw standpoint pretty much on par with the current Artian weapons is because not only do they get that group and that armor bonus, but they also have better reinforcement bonuses. So you can choose to either keep the bonuses that you've already rolled on your weapon if you have rolled them, and just try to aim for higher level versions, or you can just have them all completely re-rolled. And there's new tiers, so instead of just being attack boost 1, affinity boost 1, or element boost 1, there's now level 2, 3, and EX. So the RNG is going to be real, but it's going to be fun trying to get the maximum or at least an optimal way. But given the levels here, even on average, the bonuses are going to be really juicy and make the Artian weapons, in my opinion, the de facto choice. So for those of you who want to know, like, if you're just going to save scum or you're going to try to figure out how to get all those EX bonuses, even assuming that you grab the sharpness boost for all the weapons, the theoretical maxes here are kind of crazy. You can go as much as like 263 raw if you've got the sharpness and 4 attack EX with minus 10 affinity. Of course, you may not get all EX, so this is kind of like the best case scenario, but I think this sort of range gives you an idea of just how powerful these are. Even if you were to get like level 2 and 3 instead of the EX bonuses, just having those active skills from the armor and set bonuses is more than enough to make it so, in my opinion, crafted weapons are dead. They're there as a step up before you can get your Artian weapons, and they're basically there for cosmetic. If you like them, craft them, and you can use them as layered weapons. Other than that, I think they power creeped it a little too hard. I would love to see them consider doing a final update where you can use Gogma materials or something on the crafted weapons to at least increase the decoration slots to a level 3, level 3, level 3. That would, I think, put them a little bit more into the realm of viable compared to these weapons. Of course, the effort required is higher, and I like crafted weapons. I would like to see them, I mean, they're all viable, obviously, in this game, but I would like to see them a little bit more closer to power to the Artian weapons so that they're not just a cosmetic thing. Then before I go into the PC updates, they did announce, of course, we'll be getting the Arc-Tempered Jin Dahad. I've been really enjoying the Arc-Tempered monsters. I think they really make the monsters shine, and I wish they were always available because I think that they're just arguably better versions of the monsters than the normal ones. I love them. So this one's going to be really fun. And of course, the armor looks really snazzy. Another change they're adding, which I love, is Transcendence. This will allow you to take the sort of lower rarity armors 5 and 6 and give them better slots, like much better slots. And this will make them a much more viable choice for endgame, which will just make for a lot more set possibilities. So great idea from the team on doing this. They'll have 3 very hard quests here that you can try to clear, and if you do, you'll get a nice icon for your hunter card, which is a cool idea. I'm happy to see that. They mentioned that you'll be able to face off against level 9 tempered monsters, but they're not just calling them optional quests, they're calling them hunting exercises. It's a weird name, even in Japanese. I don't know why they're doing it, but we'll wait for the implementation a few days to see what that is. But if it's just a way to fight the 9-star without having to make an investigation, then that's a very welcome change. Perhaps because people are already tired of Kai and Olivia and all the other sport hunters because they relied on them during the Omega fight. They are adding in a few new ones, which is great for the Gogma fight. Some nice nostalgic poses that shall be available as free downloadable content, which is always nice. They'll also be giving away like a character edit voucher, but I never understood why they thought it'd be a good idea to sell those from way back when anyways. And of course some paid DLC, which I don't care about, so I'll just skip. Then we got some cool event quests with some nice new cosmetic items for special equipment. The nice party head woodwatt on the head, I think that's the name. Special event quests to get heavy armor spheres, which will be very nice. And don't forget the free challenge quest, which is kind of like a time attack trial, so you can get a nice cool trinket for your weapon if you clear the AT Jin Dahad within a special amount of time. Gogma will remain available as a permanent event quest so that you can farm it, which is good, and I mean, to be expected, the amount of farming we're going to be doing on that monster, yeah. And of course, they're going to have a festival, which looks awesome. I mean, the visuals here look great. It only sucks that it's going to be December 19th to January 14th. I'll be dedicating a lot of time over the holidays for family, so I won't have much time to play the game, but at least in January, I'll have a good week or so that I can enjoy it. But yeah, looking really good. So here's the schedule. So December 16th, it'll be Title Update 4 with Gogma and all of its weapons and the optional quests and some. There's a very long list of balancing notes for weapons, which I'm not going to get into, but I'll put a link for it in the description down below because it's a little hard to find on the website. But they have got tons of small little changes for all the different weapons. Seasonal event will be from December 19th to January 14th, and then Arc-Tempered Jin Dahad coming in for Christmas Eve. And the final update coming on February 18th, 2026, will show our final Arc-Tempered monster, which will be Archveld. Very interested to see what they do for this monster. We've all fought it so many times. I hope they go pretty crazy with it, just so it can throw us for a loop. And we'll also see those awesome design contest winners' weapons be added to the game, as well as an incredibly cute collaboration item with Monster Hunter Stories 3, which is a game that I am so looking forward to. I want to make a video on the awesome new news that they just shared, especially with the new, they're bringing back the elemental versions of swapping monsters from Monster Hunter Stories 1. But yeah, having the Rudy for your cat and just this awesome Chatacabra thing that follows you around, that's always welcome. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so on their webpage, they go into much greater detail about their commitment to improving the stability and performance for the game. So I want to go over that because a lot of people might miss this because this is on the website and was not covered in detail in their direct. So they are admitting and, owing up to the fact that there are performance and stability issues, which has been long plaguing this game since it was released. Kind of an artifact, in my opinion, of the RE engine being very bad for this type of stuff, because we saw the same thing in Dragon's Dogma 2, unfortunately. But they do have a several staged tier approach. For all platforms on Title Update 4, it seems that they feel that there's going to be a pretty good significant improvement on CPU and GPU to the fact that they're removing the benchmark because they don't feel it'll be representative of the game. I hope they update it instead of just removing it, because people really want to know if the game's going to run decently before they either go back to it or they decide to purchase it. So I hope they do that. And then there's going to be some Steam version exclusive patches in January, and then a final optimization pass in February. I don't know if it'd be final, but at least for now, what they have planned. So let's go down into the details. So the Title Update 4 is going to be for all platforms, which is good, not just PC, but also PlayStation and Xbox. However, I have heard that it plays pretty good on console, so hopefully this will just make it a little bit better. But they said that they're sort of taking all the heavier load stuff on the CPU and trying to simplify it a little bit so that the memory usage and all that kind of stuff is better. They did publish some title update comparisons. Unfortunately, they didn't do this for consoles, which I really would have liked. But they were showing them with pretty old GPU. I think the 2060 series for NVIDIA with an i5. And I mean, it's like a 10 frame increase, which is on paper actually really good if you think percentage wise. I just wish they had better examples, because this is 1080p upscaled, which is kind of when it comes to resolution. Medium settings for graphics. It is nice that they did make sure that the frame generation was off. That would have been horrible if they had it on, but we'll just have to see in a few days how well this improves. I hope that it improves it, more than it appears, so that more people can enjoy the game. And then they have an AMD example as well, which you can check out. And they go into some slight frame rate improvement of 5%. It just keep your expectations in check, I think is the good thing to know here. Seems like there's going to be some changes, but it's not going to be like day and night. Then the PC version exclusive, although I really think that they should add these to the console versions as well, to be honest. These seem more about less than optimization and more just ways to tone down some of the more ambitious ideas that they had and sort of degrade the experience a little bit so that you can get better performance. I don't know how big they're going to be. Some of these are actually really good. Some of them are kind of embarrassing that, you would want to turn them down, but hey, anything to make the game playable, I guess. Again, I think it's the engine. So they said on the CPU tab, you'll have new options to reduce the CPU load, because this game is very CPU heavy, especially the way that they're doing the asset compression is not optimal with this engine. But like endemic life display count, to reduce that, I would just turn it to 0 almost. Players displayed in the lobby, yeah, I would love to turn that off. Small monster quality, yeah, sucks, but I guess that's an option. Effect quality and animation quality, not the things you would normally want to reduce, but maybe they'll make a huge difference, who knows. There's some stuff in here as well that I just don't know what it means. Like, one that's really funny is character facial expressions reduced. Like, I don't think that's going to make a huge difference on your CPU usage for this game, but I mean, every little bit counts, right? But monster frame skip and handler frame skip, I think, sure, like reducing the animations that they do because you're not really watching them, sure, but for monsters, I don't know how that's going to work out. Then they have some GPU load stuff as well, such as being able to now have the lowest setting for volumetric fog. I don't know why they don't just allow you to just disable it. I think we had that in Iceborne, but this seems like a low-hanging fruit that they can add in. Foliage density, which is pretty standard. I would have thought that they already do that when you go from low, medium, high settings, but I guess now we can dial it in a little bit more. And then they did say that they're going to make some further optimizations to the VRAM to ensure the high resolution texture pack, which honestly I don't use because the performance is horrible, to try to optimize the texture streaming speed. Yeah, who knows? Maybe this will also affect just the non-high resolution texture pack and just make the game run better. Who knows? And it seems like the February update is more aspirational. I don't think they know concretely what they're going to do outside of a few things here, but they're committed to doing more, which is great. But this is going to be stuff like, how can they add in some more, layer of depth levels to the 3D model so that they can reduce how much is being done when the monsters are far away and stuff like that. We'll have to see, but it is nice to see that they're committed. If these updates don't really make a tangible difference, then I don't think it's due to a lack of effort. I think maybe just bad architecture and design. So yeah, fingers crossed. I have got Survivor's Guild. I have a very powerful PC, so I can muscle my way through and I get pretty good performance, but it's not like that for a lot of players, and I hope that everybody can finally enjoy this game. And they do have a feedback thing here, so when you try out the updates, go ahead and make sure to use the contact form to give them some valuable feedback depending on your configuration. I know they're struggling with PC and how to optimize it, so hopefully enough people will share them information that they can make the future patches even better, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And I think that's where I'll end my thoughts video. I'm super excited for the Gogma weapons. I love what they're doing with them. I may complain that the crafted weapons are going to get blown into the dust, but that doesn't mean that I don't love the Gogma weapons. I love the design, the new names, the new color schemes, the new bonuses, and the Gogma fight looks like it's going to be amazing. I just wish I had more time with it before the holidays. It'll still be here in January when I'm able to put in some more hours, so I'm super excited to everything here. And as a final note, Capcom, if you're listening, please bring back your more goofy, fun style of video. Yozo is a very lovable man. He's a very fun guy. And it just sucks that ever since the Nintendo Direct format really took off, it seems like Capcom's been mimicking this sort of serious approach. And it kills me to see this be the final frame of the video that you guys did. So I'm going to improve it. So hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on this update. Until next time, happy hunting.